Welcome to Quality Digest Presents, your source for what is happening in the world of quality and metrology. In this second part of our two-part series on autonomous metrology, we get a quick overview on how quality management system software relates to autonomous measurement. The easiest place to explore this topic was at HxGN's user conference, HxGN Live, which they hold every year in Las Vegas. HxGN has been building on its autonomous metrology solutions for years, but they only recently acquired one of the leading QMS companies, ETQ, in order to bring quality management system software into the fold. If you think about it, it doesn't make sense to have an autonomous measurement solution, a metrology solution, if you aren't going to use that data to inform your quality management system. The purpose of a QMS, after all, is to track quality and nonconformances, and that includes conformance to a customer's mechanical specs. So ideally, what you would like to do is be collecting measurement data, identifying when there's a quality problem, automatically creating a nonconformance report, and getting that funneled to the right people. In addition, you want to use that data to make predictions about possible future problems so you can address them before they happen. And in the future, you might even want an autonomous measurement solution that closes the loop with the shop floor and automatically makes corrections to processes without operator intervention. In order to get a sense of how a QMS like ETQ fits into metrology, and then a bit of the nuts and bolts as to how it works, we interviewed Jamie Fernandez, Chief Product Officer at ETQ, and John Taylor, Chief Technology Officer at ETQ. A little bit of background before we dive into the interview. You will briefly hear us mention HxGN's Nexus platform. Nexus is a key to making smart manufacturing and autonomous metrology possible. It's an open digital reality platform that connects people, data, and technologies from HxGN and its partner suppliers. It's through Nexus that data interchange amongst technologies and people occurs. So when we mention Nexus, that's what we're talking about. Here's our interview. So with me right now is Jamie Fernandez, Chief Product Officer for ETQ. Before we get started, just tell our audience a little bit about what ETQ software is. What does it do?
Yeah, so ETQ is an enterprise quality management system, but it's a little more than that. It's a business process digitization and automation platform at its core, with very deep domain expertise in quality, and then some in health and safety. But our customers use it to digitize and automate a lot of processes that are outside of that domain.
So it's, within, I guess, from the shop floor perspective or the company perspective, data is being collected on a process, how the process is doing, maybe if there's any problems that gets reported into here, and then that can be through the platform be escalated to the appropriate people. How it's handled is also documented in there, and this is all disseminated across the company. And,
and then management of, say a standard, a non-conformance, right?
Okay.
Is orchestrated through the platform. You have visualizations and analytics around that non-conformance process itself, and then we're going a step further to connect to the shop floor where those non-conformances are happening, right?
Okay.
And going a little, like, we want to get to the point where those are predictive. We can predict those before they actually do happen.
Okay, so that sounds like there's some AI built into here at some point, or now, or
we're on the path.
On the path. Yeah. Okay, all right. So my question here, the bigger question is, ETQ was recently acquired by HxGN. HxGN is, by and large, an equipment company. For the most part, a lot of software, but the software ties directly into equipment for the most part. So where does basically a QMS software, a quality management system software such as ETQ, tie into a company like HxGN?
Yeah, HxGN, I mean, there's a very wide and deep portfolio. There's a lot of roots in our division in MI around quality control, so metrology, measurement on the shop floor. And connecting the top floor, the quality management processes and teams with the shop floor, and bridging that gap. We're bringing those buyers together and creating that visibility, like a total quality visibility loop.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of synergy between HxGN and ETQ. Like when we partnered before we were acquired, we serve some of the same verticals. There's depth in the same verticals, and so we saw that synergy between the two, and the bringing those quality control and quality management processes together. And we're making that real through integrations with our QDOS, our SPC products, with the Metrology, devices through PCDMIS, the Nexus platform. And
so it sounds like, from what the list you just rattled off right there, that ETQ has the capability, will have the capability to actually collect data or receive the data that might be collected from a machine. So you've got a CMM or something on the shop floor, it's measuring something, maybe there's a nonconformity in the thing that it's measuring. It can report that directly into ETQ as opposed to an operator having to manually enter it in?
Yeah, we want to create autonomous quality. So taking that signal of a nonconformance all the way through to automatically creating the nonconformance report in ETQ, us closing it, bringing it back to the shop floor, to the operator, literally, with maybe remedial actions, remedial work instructions, so that we're creating a closed loop, an automated closed loop between the shop floor and the top floor.
Okay.
And the nature of our platform and the openness of it, and John Taylor, our CTO, can talk more about this with you, but allows us to do that today, but we're going to formalize that even further so that we have well-defined integration contracts between all of these components. And on the HxGN side, there's a platform called Nexus where that will largely be the one point of integration because of the smart data contract that is being built there, and we can pass data back and forth through that smart data contract.
Okay, and where is the kind of the ultimate goal of ETQ software?
Yeah, I think it's predictive quality.
Okay.
Right, so we all know the cost of recalls, right? We want to stop them before they even happen. Right. So we want you to know that there's a problem on the shop floor so that, one, we can reduce the cost of that non-conformance, right? Keep the cost of poor quality down, and then ultimately, prevent the recall before it even starts, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of high-profile recalls recently. Like, I'm not going to go into details on that, but those companies incurred some pretty heavy costs, right? And so we want to cut that off, and further downstream in an automated way, right? And create that visibility. And our CEO has talked about it in his keynote, and I think he'll talk about it in his keynote this afternoon, where we're looking at it through the lens of these 3 A's, right? Analytics, automation, and AI. And we see those as the backbone of the future of QMS.
We just heard from Jamie on what a QMS like ETQ, powered shortly by AI, can bring to shop floor metrology. Next, we spoke to John Taylor on how essentially SPC and sensor data can be collected and analyzed by ETQ on the fly. So we were just talking to Jamie, and he gave us kind of the overview of how ETQ ties into HxGN. So, kind of, what's the nuts and bolts? How does it work?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways that the data from the factory floor can plug into the quality system. So one way is, there's important signals out there through metrology equipment and so forth, SPC type of products, where those signals can come in and trigger a quality process. That's an important way that it can come in, and that can be directly linked, where sometimes that's a paper process where something happens and humans have to get that information from one place of the quality department, but if it's integrated, it can be direct. So that's one way. And another is, we have a data architecture that will allow the data to come in and be processed, cleansed and processed by AI models. And then those things, we can search for anomalies and predictions and things of that nature. And then those can also be fed back to start quality processes. So, ton of data on the shop floor, and you have to have the right systems in place to capture, process, and get the signals out of that data.
Right, and this all tied into what HxGN, their Nexus platform, right?
Yes.
Eventually, or does now, or
it sure does. Yes.
Okay.
In fact, Nexus is a way for Reliance to integrate with other HxGN products.
Now, one thing, and I know you got to go here, but one thing that might be interesting to existing customers of ETQ, ETQ already has its own cloud-based system and so on and so forth. Does that go away? Is it replaced by Nexus? Does it tie into Nexus? How's that all that work?
Yeah, so it doesn't go away at all. It's
Okay.
It will stay as it is. We have done a proof of concept of a connector to Nexus. So think of it as a SaaS system and another SaaS system with an integration between. So they're very complementary with each other.
Okay, John, appreciate the time.
Oh, my pleasure.
Okay, take care.